Welcome to the Herd's official YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Colin Cowherd podcast, all of our NFL instant reactions, and more football content. Okay, so I do a Super Bowl bubble every 4 or 5 weeks. And usually the average has been, through the years, I have about 7 or 8 teams late in the year that I think can reach the Super Bowl. It's not about winning it, it's reaching it. So this morning I did it. And there's only 3 teams that I feel real strongly about that they're going to reach the Super Bowl, potentially. Rams, Green Bay, and New England. Denver, I've got in the bubble, but bumping out of the bubble. I just don't know if I trust them. Can you be a team that's that uneven offensively and get there? Philadelphia is actually in the bubble. They are touching the bubble. They are making slight contact with the bubble, so they're in the bubble. But I would just say if Congress voted on it, nobody would like them. They would be, kind of a Marjorie Taylor Greene feel. Like nobody's quite sure what's going on there. In, out, we're not sure. Maybe out in a week. Nobody really knows. Philly's in the bubble. There's contact with the bubble. They're kind of the bubble. So I want to concentrate on the 4 teams I put just outside of the bubble. Chicago, Seattle, Buffalo, San Francisco. I believe there are fatal flaws that eliminate you even if you have a good record. So let's start with the 49ers. The 49ers have a fatal flaw. They don't sack the quarterback. They are last in defensive sacks this year. 13 games, only 16. No team has ever won a Super Bowl last in sacks. And Fred Warner and Nick Bosa are not coming back. The Bills can't defend the run, no matter who gets healthy. They're 30th in run defense. Only one team, Peyton Manning's 2006 Colts, have won a Super Bowl being a bottom 5 run defense. I think it kills you. Josh Allen sitting on the sidelines. Let's talk the Seahawks. They turn it over too much. No team has ever won a Super Bowl bottom 3 in giveaways. Seattle's number 2. Only the Vikings have given away the ball more, and that's because of quarterback play. Seattle is just too reckless. And the Bears, you have to go back to Eli Manning 2007 when a quarterback had a completion percentage at 58% or lower and won a Super Bowl. Now, it was a different time. 56% didn't sound as bad as 58% does now. Now, Caleb Williams could get up to 60%, which is kind of the threshold I'm looking for in his last several games. But I think the strangest team in the league is Philadelphia. We love their roster. They should be a Super Bowl team. I'm not sure what to do with them. They're playing terribly on offense. They've got incredible personnel at wide receiver, at corner, at defensive line, at linebacker, at running back, at tight end. And they're a mess, and I'm not sure their head coach can fix it. So, J-Mac, am I missing anybody here? Count the Eagles in because they're making contact with the bubble. Anybody I'm missing here?
Well, I like to come in fresh, so I didn't see this before it was posted, and my eyes popped when I saw that the 2 AFC teams in the Super Bowl bubble are Bo Nix and Drake Maye. Like, yeah. I'm stunned. No Ravens. I cannot believe nobody in the building had you force feed the Chiefs onto like touching the bubble. I mean, these are some bad teams, Colin. But I think Buffalo should be touching the bubble. By the way, nice political analogy there earlier. There's just not enough AFC here. I mean, I can't envision a world where Denver's in the Super Bowl. I just can't. It's a hurdle.
Okay, for the previous 5 years, we thought the AFC was better. It's not.
It was.
The NFC now is better. I think Seattle could get to the AFC Championship game. I think Chicago could. The Niners could. The Eagles could. The Rams could. The Packers could. I mean, I cannot. I think the team that people think I'm hard on is Buffalo, but you can't struggle against the run because the way Buffalo is going to beat you is Josh Allen and James Cook. If you're sitting on the bench and losing time of possession, that's the killer. That's always been the way to beat Mahomes. It's that, and that's why Kansas City is generally, by the way, why is Kansas City losing all those one-possession games this year? Nick Wright said it yesterday. They can't stop anybody on third down. That's what Buffalo's struggling with on 3rd and 3. People just like, we're running it. And a lot of the teams that they could play in the Buffalo's got one advantage. They do run the ball very, very well. That usually helps in December, January football. That's really, and Denver's run game is hit and miss, and New England's run game is hit and miss. But if you love Buffalo, this is the one thing you like. Well, football the next 6 weeks, run games matter. Bears, Niners, Seahawks.
But again, Colin, remember, you've got to walk before you run in all of sports, especially in the postseason. We've never seen really Bo Nix outside of one playoff game. Drake Maye, we don't know what these guys are going to look like in the playoffs, so that's why it's difficult for me to envision, boom, you get in the playoffs and you go to the Super Bowl. It's just hard. I don't see it with those guys.
All right. There you go. Kansas City was not force-fed by management on the screen. That was funny. Today's show brought to you by our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. Big news. Hard Rock Bet now live in Michigan. Michigan, congrats. Sign up today. Place your first $5 sports bet. If it wins, you get $150 in bonus bets on top of your winnings. And if you're more into casino games, new customers can get up to $1,000 back in casino bonus if you're not up money after your first 24 hours playing slots. Win money or get a casino bonus back. Plus, you also get 200 bonus spins, winnings paid in cash. Not sure what to place your first bet on? Head over to the Hard Rock Bet Stats Hub. It's going to help you out. Loaded with trends, streaks, stats, help you guide you through your picks. Numbers don't lie, neither does the data in there. Check out the Stats Hub now. Get the edge. Bet with confidence. Plus, Hard Rock Bet offers new promos daily, plus big legendary reward drops every Thursday, like gifts under the tree. So whenever you're listening, just open the app and check out what you've got waiting for you. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit. Okay, so Ben Roethlisberger, who carries a lot of weight with the Pittsburgh Steelers, his voice carries, he is now joining the fans and the media. And privately, there is a discussion, there's tension between Tomlin and the ownership. Here's Big Ben on the Mike Tomlin future discussion.
It's being talked about around here a lot. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's a clean house time. Maybe it is. Maybe it's time. And I like Coach Tomlin. I have a lot of respect for Coach Tomlin. But maybe it's best for him too. Sure. Maybe a fresh start for him is what's best.
This is what I agree with. Big Ben's right. Ask yourself this. Sometimes people, I would include myself in this, I like fresh starts. Some people have to be pushed into them. But a lot of times, be honest, did your wife, your kids, a friend convince you, you know what, this job, you need a fresh start. You're kind of getting tired. You've lost your energy. And you do it. You got to be pushed into it. It ends up being the greatest move of your career. I think that's what Mike Tomlin needs. Think about this. Since Mike Tomlin's last playoff win, Donald Trump hadn't been inaugurated the first time. Shohei Ohtani was still playing baseball in Japan. Sam Darnold just beat Penn State in a Rose Bowl. Kevin Durant, it was his first season with the Warriors. Sean McVay had not coached a single game for the Rams. This isn't like just happening or in the last couple years. Sam Darnold was in college. I mean, come on. It's time. And I've said in my career, I'm not out to fire people. But when somebody's going to get a job pretty quickly after, I don't have a problem with it. It's time. I mean, this has been like a 7-year leaky roof, and Pittsburgh just keeps putting buckets all over the living room and kitchen. This offense has been dreadful. Bottom 10 for years. Aaron Rodgers, he'll save the day. Arthur Smith, he'll save the day. It doesn't matter. You can keep running through great receivers. NFL coach is not a Supreme Court justice. It's not a lifetime appointment. Mike Tomlin is not a college professor. He's not tenured. Whatever's happening in his personal life, I don't know and I don't care. But what I know right now is This is a 7 to 8 year leaky roof. Fix the roof. Stop just putting buckets around the house. 2025 Pittsburgh Steelers once again feel out of touch with the league offensively and kind of outdated defensively. Old defensive coaches, Belichick, Pete Carroll, Mike Tomlin, a few years ago, Ron Rivera, Lovie Smith. Those defensive coaches do not age as well. I tend to think offensive coaches tend to be more curious. They're play designers where you have to be current. Defensive coaches tend to be about brute strength and aggressive, which doesn't always necessarily for people or businesses or teams age well. But if Big Ben's entered the fray, you got to take it seriously. J-Mac, Joel Klatt in 1 hour, Albert Breer, Alexi Lawless. We're going to have the World Cup draw on Friday, which is going to be unbelievable. Can't wait for that.
And can I ask you real quick about this Tomlin stuff? Because I'm kind of on the other side, Colin. I've seen some of these franchises. You move off a good coach, and it may take you a while to find a great replacement. I mean, we've seen this with quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope you can't just say, Mike, we're done. You need a game plan. Who you got? Give me 5 names who you think we could realistically get to shape the franchise going forward.
They would all be offensive. Brian Daboll is somebody I would strongly consider. I mean, remember
firing Tomlin to hire a guy who couldn't get his act together in New York over.
Yeah, but New York's got worse ownership. New York's front office has been wonky. Contextualize it. The Giants have run through everybody. The Steelers generally aren't chaotic. They underperform, but they haven't had a losing season in 21 years. When's the last time the Giants had a winning season? So Brian Daboll would be, Brian Daboll's won a playoff game in the last 8 years with Daniel Jones, who the Indianapolis Colts may regret now with the Sauce Gardner move.
Oh, yeah.
So Brian Daboll would be at the top. And again, there's always a Liam Cohen out there, hunt around. There's always a Ben Johnson somewhere. But Brian Daboll's the obvious one to me that just jumps out.
And do you think Tomlin goes back into coaching? Because the Titans have an opening. The Jets could have an opening. The Browns could have an opening in the division. Yeah. I think people would be really interested. Tomlin's not quite in the Vrabel Harbaugh boat, is he? Of like, that guy's going to work. Remember those guys when they were on the market? It was like, that's a slam dunk.
Let me throw this one out. Mike McCarthy. All he does is win 12 games in Green Bay and in Dallas.
Like him.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy, Brian Daboll, offensive guy. Whether you like them or not, it is undeniable. Brian Daboll is the one that pushed for Jackson Dart in New York, and you're watching Jackson Dart, and it's like, oh, that's a franchise quarterback. The rest of the league wasn't clamoring for Jackson Dart. So if you look at Jackson Dart's completion percentage, his running, if he can stay out of the blue tent, which, by the way, Drake Maye first year was in the blue tent a lot. Guys are in the blue tent when they're young. Then they get hit a few times. End of year 2, they're out of it. And I think Jackson Dart, after that hit against New England in the first quarter, may be avoiding hits from this point forward. But the point is, Brian Daboll won a playoff game. Brian Daboll, like Jackson Dart. Brian Daboll, I think, can coach in the NFL, and he would get a less chaotic ownership group. I think you have to consider him. So there is a lot of consternation, a lot of questions by Bears fans and Bronco fans. Are we any good? And there's a lot of questions about their quarterbacks, Bo Nix and Caleb Williams. And so in Chicago, they have quarterback, it's like quarterback derangement syndrome. Like, they get very defensive if you criticize Caleb Williams. And this week, Ben Johnson addressed the fact that his quarterback has a bizarrely low 58% completion percentage.
I know what the stats say. Throw those out the window. He's doing a really good job managing the ball game, and that's step number 1 for the quarterback. And so he's going to continue to get better. He's doing the process is really good right now with how he approaches the week, the way he's taking the coaching, the way he's applying the coaching. I'm very pleased with that, and I think we're going to continue to see him ascend, whether the stats tell the story or not.
So, here's the thing with Caleb. He is a big play quarterback. Bears lead the NFL in big plays, so his ceiling, high. And he's also really inaccurate. But instead of just talking about Caleb Williams, I'm going to combine Caleb Williams and Bo Nix because they're very similar. Both talented, both in a rookie contract, both uneven, both miss on some layups, both make big plays, right? Both have offensive coaches, Sean Payton, Ben Johnson. And yet there's a lot of criticism of both. How are they winning? Does quarterback play even matter anymore? How is Denver a number 2 seed? How is Chicago a number 1 seed? How is Bo Nix 10-2? Quarterback just doesn't matter. It's overrated. How is Caleb Williams 9-3 a number 1 seed? It's all very explainable. Go look at their O-lines. The top 4 O-lines in the NFL, none have a quarterback that's making the max money. There's 2 ways to win big in this league. Superstar quarterback, mostly taking a team-friendly deal, or a really talented quarterback, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams, on a rookie deal. So I'll give you an example. I think what's underrated is how good Chicago and Denver's rosters are. If you're wondering how Bo Nix and Caleb could potentially end up as number 1 seeds and be so uneven, let me give you an example of how good the Bears and Broncos rosters are. Here are the 10 best players. Okay, and there are excellent players I'm not including. And I don't care what the order is, but I'm going kind of close. Nick Bonito, Denver. Patrick Surtain, 3-time Pro Bowler, Denver. Joe Thuney, Pro Bowler, 3 straight years. Darnell Wright, Chicago. Drew Dahlman, number 2 ranked center, PFF. Garrett Bowles, number 2 ranked left tackle, Denver. Hufanga, the safety, unbelievable player. USC, San Francisco, and now in Denver. Montez Sweat, 7.5 sacks. Game changer since he arrived defensively in Chicago. Quinn Miners, right now the number 1 guard on PFF. Kevin Byard leads the NFL in interceptions. I am not including in the top 10. Do you see how many offensive linemen were on that? The Bears and Denver arguably have the best offensive lines in football. Detroit's up there. I didn't count Jalen Johnson, who's a Pro Bowler, but he's been hurt most of the year, so I won't count him. He may be their most talented defensive player. I'm not counting Zach Allen for Denver, who would start for every single team in the NFL, every single one. So when you're like, well, how does Bo Nix, how does Caleb Williams? Rookie contract, really, really high-end offensive coaches, unbelievable offensive lines. You don't have to complete 67%. You can be uneven. Now what you hope is, over the next 2 to 3 years, Bo gets up to 66, Caleb gets up to 61.5, 62.5. And all the bumps in that uneven quarterback play. I mean, when Brady was at his best, you got the same Tom Brady literally every Sunday. He would throw picks, but it was the same guy. It was the same Peyton. It was the same Breeze. It's mostly the same Mahomes. But with these guys, you're not quite sure quarter to quarter, half to half what you get. If that evens out, and it needs to, because as you get paid more, think about this. How are these guys number 1 seeds? Caleb Williams' cap hit is only 15% of Dak Prescott's. Bo Nix' cap hit is only 8% of Dak's, which is a compliment to Dak because Dak has the number 1 offense and he's gobbling up so much of the money. So when you, great offensive coach, great offensive line, fairly underappreciated stacked rosters, that explains it. And they're both good. Bo and Caleb are really talented guys. They're uneven. You just got to iron out the bumps, and that's when the Super Bowl happens. Eventually, potentially for both. J-Mac with the news.
No.
Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
All right, let's start in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Colin. Obviously, Bill Belichick's first season did not go as expected. However, reports indicate that the school will keep him, quote, for at least 1 more season. Whew, not a resounding vote of confidence, but Carolina went 4-8, 5 double-digit losses. Reports claim it would be about $30 million to buy out Belichick and his staff. I don't mind admitting I was way off on Belichick. I had faith in the old man. I thought he could deliver. Then he got sidetracked by the young lady.
You know, J-Mac, there's only one old man you can count on, me.
Well, in a football sense, I mean, yeah, maybe Belichick's been disappointing. Pete Carroll's been disappointing. I don't know. It kind of feels like the last ride for both those dudes, right?
No, it does. Yeah, I mean, I think one thing, their offense was really bad. Well, so was New England's. And the two carryovers, Bill knows offense, but he's not good at diagramming it, calling it, or drafting it. So what did you notice about Carolina that you noticed about New England the last several years? There's no playmakers. I don't think Bill has an eye for it, a touch for it, a feel for it, or a sensibility for it. I think his sensibility and touch is defense and leadership and culture. And I do think they got better, but the offense for Carolina, I watched them twice early in the season, and I'm like, this is a bad team. They got no playmakers. And I watched Carolina. I watched New England last 4 years when Brady left and Josh McDaniels. He has no feel for offense. He has a great feel, maybe the best ever for defense. And the world has pivoted away from Bill. It's an offensive sport, college and pro.
And remember, this is in a league, the ACC, where like the conference championship game is Virginia against Duke. Like this was a weak league and Belichick only went 4-8. Not great at all. All right, let's go back to the NFL and the New York Football Giants. I think they're a disaster this season. They fired Daboll. Kafka seems like he doesn't know what he's doing. Yet somehow, Colin, GM Joe Shane is still employed. He had a press conference yesterday, and he was grilled about how he still has a job. Here's what he had to say.
This is in place, Dan, and I understand the question, and I do have confidence in our ability and our process to find the next coach to lead the organization. And again, I truly believe in that process, and I know we're going to get it right.
I mean, he looks the part, hair combed, wearing the quarter zip, and just his history in New York has been a disaster from Saquon Barkley. By the way, did you see his first-round pick, Abdul Carter? He got benched again against the Patriots. I don't know what's going on with that guy in the locker room.
He's a good player, but New York
seems like a knucklehead.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He's a very, very good player. I have told you this before. I do not think the Giants are miles away. I don't. I think their receivers, even without Malik Neighbors, have been kind of surprisingly good. They need to go out and get Scatterboo back and probably get another back. I think their offensive line's better. Jackson Dart appears to be a franchise guy. They've got a couple of rush ends I like.
Wow.
I think if they went out and nailed their first 2 or 3 picks, I think if they went and got a number 1 corner, a number 1 defensive tackle, they got to add somebody along with Scatterboo at running back. Because I don't think Jackson Dart's going to be a guy that throws it 40 times a game. He's a little dangerous. He's a little cocky, a little too confident at times for me. He's going to throw picks. If you can give him help, like the Bears have given, by the way, like the Bears have given Caleb Williams, great run game. So I get Scatterboo back. I would go 3rd, 4th round pick. I'd go another. Remember, Scatterboo was not a 1st round pick. They're not paying him anything for several years. So I don't think they're miles away. And in that division, where's Washington? I mean, Philadelphia may have a new coach by next year. So I don't think the Giants are miles away. Now, New England, they got hammered. I watched them previous 3 or 4 weeks, and they were frisky. They came, they're playing hard.
Okay, you're taking me for a loop here. I was going to trash Shane because he's been awful. From paying Daniel Jones, which they regretted instantly.
I didn't say
moving off Saquon Barkley. But fine, let's move past that. Right now, do you believe ownership will keep Joe Shane after the season?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. Well, that's great news for the Jets, because I'll tell you right now, the New York Jets are in a better spot football-wise than the Giants are. This Giants are close. The Jets have so many draft picks, Colin.
Yeah. Well, what's it matter when you get them and don't know what to do with them? You had Sam Darnold.
You mean like the Giants? I mean, listen, we had Sam Darnold way back in the day, but wow, you're optimistic on the Giants. Eagles, Cowboys, Washington has Jaden Daniels. You got the worst quarterback in the division.
Well, we'll see. Well, good luck.
Oh, my goodness. I can't believe this. Must be a Jets thing. That's what it is. Final story, Colin. Mike Vrabel, your boy, he had an awesome quote yesterday. He was talking about that hit that Christian Ellis laid on Jackson Dart.
Oh, God, it's hard to watch.
37 times. Hard to watch. I love that. That's football right there, baby. Anyways, here's Vrabel talking about this hit not being dirty, and he's coaching his players to keep an eye on quarterbacks in bounds.
We show that to Drake, and our defenders are being coached the same way. When I say we better not get cute over there by the sidelines because this is legal, I turn around and tell the defense, if this is happening, we need to try to knock it out of them as legally as possible.
Yeah, that's right.
Man, how the Patriots fell backwards into Vrabel is just so unfair. They're not going anywhere for the next decade. Vrabel and Maye?
How about that division? Josh Allen, Drake Maye. Good luck if you're a Dolphin or a Jet fan.
But we got Aaron Glenn. So far, that's a start. And then maybe we'll get Mendoza, maybe a little Ty Simpson. I've worked Jets into 2 stories in this hour. How about that?
Way to go.
That's a win.
J-Mac with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
So tomorrow, Thursday Night Football is a great one. There's a lot of stinkers on Thursday Night Football. Tomorrow is a great one. Dallas at the Detroit Lions. And this is what I love about the NFL. I think this is one of the NFL's strengths. Maybe its greatest strength. It is a great reminder how fast, how quickly things change in the NFL. Last year, Lions win 15 games. They may miss the playoffs. Dallas, a month ago, tire fire. They may make the playoffs. No sport gives you this. Last year, the Lions were an offensive juggernaut. 17th now on 3rd down and can't pick up 4th down. That was their culture. It's unbelievable. So, there's the old, people were banging on Lane Kiffin this week and LSU, but it's always been the truth. Strike when the iron is hot and never settle. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin's like, I'm settling. LSU is not settling. So this goes back. Why is Detroit going backwards? Did the players get worse? No, they settled. They had the best offensive coordinator in football. He left. He's now got Chicago as a elite team, and they settled on an in-house candidate who may be more than capable, but he's not Ben Johnson. And I've said the greater the coordinator or coach you lose, the broader the search has to be to replace him. We all know that. Steve Jobs, force him out of Apple. You better get the next Steve Jobs, or you're going to be begging 10 years later for Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs, to come back, which Apple was doing. Like I say, if you're gonna fire James Franklin at Penn State, I said, okay, won a lot of games. Now they can't find a coach. Be very careful. The answer for fans is fire everybody. And the answer for fans in the media is hire the friendly guy everybody likes. Michigan football did that. Doesn't quite look the same, does it? 2 years later. And Detroit had great coordinators, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, and they stayed in-house. And so, 90% of Americans, I think, and it's not a bad thing, but are very content being good. But if you want to be great, if you want to hoist trophies, there's 2 things you have to do. You can't settle, and you have to be aggressive. Because if you're not aggressive, you're like 90% of Americans who aren't aggressive. And you'll be somewhere in the pack, slightly below, middle of it, or slightly above. And Detroit settled. And Dallas, by the way, took massive swings. Dallas plays it. They traded Micah. It gave them flexibility. Jerry the deal maker, Quinnen Williams. That's a huge swing. So Dallas and Detroit are different. Dallas settled. If they lose, they're not going to make the playoffs. Detroit settled. If they lose, they're out of the playoffs. Dallas took huge swings and risk. And if they win, start looking at their schedule, guys. Start looking at Dallas's schedule. And I think Jerry is a deal maker. And I said this for years, when he traded Micah Parsons, it was so easy. And 90% of the media, 95% said, Dallas, terrible move. I said, you got to give deal makers the opportunity to make deals. This year, the Rams, the Eagles, and the Cowboys have made huge moves, aggressive acquisitions. 2 are doing really well. 2 will make the playoffs, and Dallas may. So it's really interesting. You juxtapose the Lions and the Cowboys. One settled, one took a huge swing. And who would you rather be today? Ask yourself. Who would you rather be over the next 2 years? I got Dak Prescott, George Pickens. I got CeeDee Lamb. I got a run-stopping defense with an elite defensive tackle and Kenny Clark as well. DeMarvion Overshown has emerged as a stud, and I have 2 first-round picks, and I'll probably go get a Caleb Downs and an edge rusher. And my coach is overachieving at this point. So I think it's a fascinating game, and it's a reminder of why the NFL is king. It is the league of optimism and the league of hope. 4 weeks ago, One of these teams was circling the train 4 or 5 weeks ago, and before the Quinnen Williams trade, Dallas defense didn't look like this, and Detroit was humming. Now look at it. Oh, and don't forget this. Here's another thing. That Tyler Booker, remember everybody made fun of that Tyler Booker move? That trade by Dallas? Or not trade, he was the 12th pick in the draft. Everybody's like, whoa, what a reach. Did you see him match up against Jalen Carter? Looked pretty good. As a rookie, as a 12th pick. So things are humming for the Dallas Cowboys.